So today I wanted to ask you, what do you use to apply your foundation? There is so much information out there and so many different tools that you might be a little bit confused or a little bit, unsure about how you should be doing it. Is there a right way? Is there a wrong way? So I'm here today to talk to you about what are the tools to use to apply your foundation. So I'm going to cover sponges, brushes, and also our fingers, and touch a little bit on the pros and cons of each. Okay, so I'm just going to move you a little bit this way. So I'm going to start off with sponges. Definitely these are some of the tools that I use. I use a lot of, for example, these little disposable latex latex or non-latex sponges are fantastic for events. So for when I work a marketplace, etc., you will see me using these just because they are sanitary, and I can actually switch them up between clients. Now, if this is for your own personal use and you decide to buy these, you do not have to throw them out. So I would say that these are actually one of the cons, that these are disposable. So if you are into cutting back and doing, a little bit more of a green application, this would not be the best choice because they are so small and they come in this, massive bags of 50 or 100 pieces. So you are more likely to use it, and after a while, when it starts falling apart on you, to throw it out. So this is definitely one of the cons, that is not the greenest choice. Now, the other thing too is if you buy something that's a little bit pricier, a little bit bigger, you can actually just wash it. You should not be throwing these out. So if you have a beauty blender or if you have this other type of wedge sponges, these can be washed out and reused, which is fantastic. Now, another one of the cons for using sponges is that they tend to absorb more product, okay? Sponges can be used for both pressed foundation and liquid. Definitely with the pressed foundation, you do not have to worry about product absorption. But when you are using liquid, of course, a sponge will absorb more product than your fingers or a brush. Okay, so if that is a concern, yeah, you're going to be using more product. So if you have a foundation that's, I don't know, like $50, perhaps you do not want to be using a sponge because a lot of it is going to just be absorbed in here. Okay, the pros of the sponges are that they give a quick application. You can just, run these over your face. And as you get, used to doing your own makeup with these, you will find that they are very, very efficient. The other thing too is that they're gentle on the skin. Sponges are not going to tug and pull your skin, so they are fantastic. Also, depending on what shape you prefer, they are going to get into all the nooks and crannies. So between, between your cheek and nose here, underneath your eyes, they come in so many different shapes. If you have a preference, I'm sure you go out there and find the shape that works for you. All right, so that is sponges, and that is, again, for liquid and powder. The next one I'm going to talk about are brushes. And brushes, the cons for these are just that they'll be a little bit high maintenance. If you are using them with a wet product, they are going to be soiled and they're going to kind of look kind of yucky after a couple applications. You don't want to be using the brush and putting on your foundation and then leaving it there wet from foundation and sticking it in your drawer, going back to it 24 hours later, picking it up and just adding more liquid. Just talking about that makes me cringe. Okay, if you're using it for liquid, of course you're gonna have more of a chance of having bacterial growth because it is liquid. So I would say if you are someone who's not used to shampooing their brushes regularly, the brush might not be for you. That's pretty much the biggest con. The other thing too is that you just have to be careful when you're purchasing because a lot of them are not vegan. These here are the Pura Nada brushes. They're quite affordable. They have beautiful bamboo handles and synthetic bristles. At the show the other day, someone said, oh, synthetic bristles, I guess that's not good. Well, you know what's not good? Shaving up some little creature and putting it on our brush. So yeah, we are amazing at creating synthetic products, and there's nothing wrong with a synthetic bristle touching your face. So yeah, this is the way to go if you're going to be going green. Now, I just wanted to give you another tip. If you are going to be using liquid or powder, again, there are brushes for each. The pros of using a brush is that they offer a quick application. Of course, they are, sanitary. Like if you are using them on yourself, of course, they're more sanitary than using your fingers, as long as you take care of them and you shampoo them. The other pro would be that you can actually gauge the application. You can go heavy or you can go light, depending on the denseness of the bristle. So you can see that if you have a flat top kabuki-like brush, again, you can go in with a pressed foundation, and this will give you a fuller coverage. Same with a light foundation, if that's what you decide to use. Now, if you go in and use a brush with a looser bristle, fluffier, not as compact as the other one that I showed you. Again, I love to do that with my pressed foundation, and and then it will give you just a super nice light application. I actually, what I do every day, and I am going to do a little demo for you, I layer these two. So this is the tinted moisturizer, which is really light, and then I can actually, because I'm going for a lighter coverage with the tinted moisturizer, I can go in and use the pressed foundation by Pura Nada. I can use that with a fluffier brush and do a light dusting, and and that means that I'm using it kind of like a setting powder. So depending on which tool you use, this product here is multi-purpose, and of course it can be applied with a brush, with a sponge if you wish. The last one would be our fingers, okay? And you've seen me in some videos with this product in particular. I kind of just put it on my face and I just like blend it in like it's my face cream. Again, I'll start with the cons, I guess. The cons for this would be your hands have to always be clean. And if you are going to be touching up your foundation later in the day, these will not serve you. You're not going to, throw this in your bag and touch up at work using your fingers. I wouldn't anyways. If it's in the morning and you're kind of like, just cleaned yourself and you're going to go in and use that and just use your foundation and put it on like a moisturizer, then it's completely fine. The other con for the fingers is that we tend to pull and tug our skin with our fingers. We're going to do that more than if we're using a brush or a sponge. So if you are concerned of premature sagging or lines, aging, do not use your fingers. You can get a quick application with a brush. Okay, now the fingers do have pros, okay, and the pros would be that when you're using a product like a liquid, and of course the fingers work with liquid, I wouldn't be using the fingers with this, with a pressed foundation or a powder foundation. So the pros with the liquid is that your hands and the warmth of your hands warm up the product, and the product just melts into your skin. So you will get just a really, really nice kind of dewy and seamless application with your fingers. But I do think that there are amazing brushes out there that will give you that as well. But yeah, nothing will warm up the product better than our fingers, okay? And then kind of just press it into your skin and have it kind of, pushed in and absorbed. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to show you how I use my Pure Nada sheer tinted foundation and what brush I use, and then how I kind of just powder it on top. So in this case, you've seen me use my fingers before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the actually, let's use this one. I'm going to use the flat top foundation brush just to show you how it works. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of this product on my face, and then I'm just going to go in with this flat top foundation brush and just work it in. So the dense bristles obviously give you a little bit of fuller coverage, but the product is so light that you don't have to worry about overdoing it. Just make sure you get, the corners. And the reason I wanted to use this one is because I really like the fluffier one with the powder, and I don't want it to be wet. Again, be conscious of that. If you're using this for a wet product and then you're dipping into a powder, you're now transferring the wet product into your dry product. All right. So again, just be conscious of those things. This product is it's amazing. It just goes on seamlessly. All right. So I use the flat top foundation brush by Puranata, and then I'm gonna take the fluffier brush, and this is also like a face foundation brush. This is the Kabuki the flat top foundation brush. So I'm gonna go in with the not tinted. I'm going to go in with their powder foundation, the mineral powder foundation, but I'm going to use it for light dusting just to give a little bit additional coverage on top of the tinted moisturizer and to set the product. So let's go like this. And then what you want to do if you're applying a mineral powder is to work with downward strokes. So never go against the grain. The mica and the zinc oxide, titanium dioxide that are in loose and pressed mineral powders are actually, they resemble like little pieces of mirror. So they have jagged edges, and if you want to get a smooth application, it always has to be in downward strokes. And if you buff it a little bit more, they really kind of come to life because they are shimmery and by nature. So just like having little mirrors on your skin, they are gonna reflect light, and that's what makes mineral makeup so appealing. So that is it. I don't know what tool appeals to you, but I feel like everyone has their own method. Again, there's no right or wrong, so whatever works for you is great. Just keep in mind what we talked about for the sponges, the brushes, and your fingers. There are pros and cons to all of these depending on what your lifestyle is, and how much time you have for makeup application, how much time you have to actually clean these tools, okay? Otherwise, keeping your hands clean and going with those might be the way to go. All right? Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be here next Tuesday. Give me some suggestions if there's something you want to see. See you later, everyone. Bye.